All right, hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling a topic that's honestly pretty central to, well, a huge chunk of the world, really.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to be diving into how Catholics view and interpret the Bible.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. And lucky for us, we've got some excerpts from pasted text to help guide our deep dive. And let me tell you, this thing gets
Oh, it gets deep.
It gets deep.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of our listeners probably have like at least a general sense of what Catholics believe, like the basics.
Right.
But today, we're going way deeper into how those beliefs actually shape how they approach the Bible itself.
And that's really where pasted text comes in, because it directly tackles this whole idea of the Bible as, get this, a source of living truth.
Living truth. Okay, so right off the bat, that already sounds like we're not just talking about some dusty old history book, right?
No, definitely not.
What does that even mean, living truth, for Catholics?
So that's where things get super interesting. One example pasted text brings up is the Beatitudes.
Okay, yeah.
And for Catholics, they're not just these, nice-sounding sayings from a long time ago. They're active guidelines for how to actually live a good and meaningful life today.
So it's about finding ways to connect those ancient words to modern everyday life.
Exactly. And one of the big ways they do that is through tradition.
Okay, tradition.
Yeah. And when Catholics talk about tradition, they're talking about the teachings and wisdom of the church that's been built up over centuries.
So it's not just solely what's written in the Bible itself.
Right, exactly. It's this whole framework for understanding the Bible, for making sure that everything stays consistent within the faith, all that.
Okay, now, I remember pasted text mentioned a specific example of this.
Yeah.
Something about the magisterium.
Yeah, the magisterium.
I'll be honest, that one's a little new to me. What's that all about?
So the magisterium is basically the teaching authority of the church.
Right.
Specifically, it refers to the Pope and the bishops. And for Catholics, the magisterium helps to, guide them towards a correct understanding of what the Bible's actually teaching.
Especially, I imagine, in places where, different interpretations could pop up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which, seems bound to happen with the text as layered and complex as the Bible, right?
For sure.
Now, this idea of the magisterium kind of makes me wonder about something, though. Couldn't this potentially lead to situations where individual Catholics might feel like their own personal understanding clashes with what the church is teaching?
Oh, definitely. And pasted text actually touches on that too, that there can be some tension there.
Yeah.
But the idea, at least from the Catholic perspective, is that the magisterium helps to kind of hold everything together, make sure those core beliefs of the faith stay strong.
So it's not just a matter of reading the Bible, in a purely academic way,
Yeah.
right? It's about how it shapes their actions, their choices, even their whole worldview. It's actually influencing how they live their lives.
Absolutely. And, it's important to remember that this is just one way of approaching the Bible.
Right.
There are tons of other faiths out there with their own unique interpretations. And frankly, that's one of the things that makes studying religion so fascinating.
It really does. It makes you think about how these different interpretations can shape how we understand things, how we see the world, even how different religions relate to each other. A lot to unpack there.
A lot to unpack, yeah. I mean, it begs the question, how do we balance all these different interpretations with this, desire to find some kind of common ground?
That's a good question. It really is. Well, folks, we've covered a ton of ground today. We've explored this concept of living truth. We've talked about the role of tradition, the magisterium, and how those things all fit together when it comes to understanding the Bible from a Catholic perspective.
Yeah, it's been a deep dive.
It has been a deep dive, no pun intended.
I see what you did there.
I had to.
Had to.
Anyway, thanks to everyone for joining us on this journey. Hopefully you've learned something new today, something that maybe sparked a few thought-provoking questions of your own.
Always good to keep thinking.
Exactly. And with that, we'll catch you on our next deep dive.
See you then.
See you.